Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 511 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today we're going to talk about Pinterest for beginners. Now, I guess I would be coined a beginner. You know, I always promise you I'm going to teach you stuff that I've made a fortune or saved a fortune on. So in this case, yeah, I wrote a pin a long time ago, a funny one, for my protection dog site. And as far as we can tell, it sold 2 protection dogs for about $40,000 gross, and my share was about $10,000. All right, so that's pretty good for a beginner, I guess. And I'm taking a lot of advanced courses now to really ramp it up, because there's so many big benefits that I'm going to tell you about today that I probably should have really ramped this up a long time ago. I had a social media person just basically putting stuff up there and not paying much attention to it, just to keep things rolling. But now I'm excited about it, and there's a webinar I'm going to tell you about that I hosted with Daniel Hall and John Kramer, both luminaries in the industry. Daniel was a former student of mine, and I think you'll get really psyched about Pinterest if you watch it. I'll give you the link to that a little later. All right, hope you didn't miss episode 510. That was Ask Me a Product Production Question. I talked about my writing book methods, the changes you need to make for printed books, online courses, audio products, video products, and there we go. So that was a good episode. And anytime you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. That was 510, and this is 511. Okay, how'd you like me to send you big checks? If you're in our referral program, I'll send you big checks or PayPal or however else you want. If it was enough money, I could deliver gold bullion to you in a wheelbarrow. How about that? But just email me at tom@screwthecommute.com if you're interested, and you can make big commissions for referring our products and services. So check that out. Now, pick up a copy of our automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. This book has saved me, we literally figured it out, 7.5 million keystrokes over many years, and allowed me to ethically steal customers from people who are too slow to get back to people. If you want to cut your workload down, take a few days to implement the stuff in this book, and it's going to knock your workload down by, I would say, at least 30%. And still get the same amount of work out of your business. So check it out, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And while you're at it, pick up a copy of our podcast app at screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. You can put us on your cell phone and tablet and take us with you on the road. All right, we're still going strong with our pilot program to help persons with disabilities in my school. We're getting them educated in distance, with distance learning, so they don't have to go and kill themselves to try to get places and go to class in person. And then we're going to get them hired or in their own business. And then I'm going to roll it out really, really big to get foundations and corporations to really help a lot of people. So help me out with this. We got a GoFundMe campaign. We're using the money to pay for all the extra stuff we got to do to take care of these folks. And also we're going to use some of the money to hire people with disabilities to help run the program. How about that? Now, you can be part of this wonderful program to change people's lives. So check it out at my school website. It's the Internet Marketing Training Center of Virginia, but of course it's distance learning, so you don't have to be in Virginia, at IMTC, Internet Marketing Training Center, VA, that's Virginia, imtcva.org. And then put /disabilities. You can click over to the GoFundMe account. You can see videos of the people in the program, 2 of which are blind. If you don't want to inspire to see these people chugging through an internet program and they can't see, all right, this is really, these people are really great people, and you can be really proud to help them out. All right, let's get into today's main event. Getting started with Pinterest. Well, first, I took an advanced training on Instagram, and I know all the tips and tricks, but you know what? I think Pinterest is way, way better. See, one thing is that you can start with nothing, no followers at all, and still do well with Pinterest right away. See, if someone searches for your topic and you have placed keywords properly in your pins, that's a pin is basically your graphic that you put up on Pinterest. You can be found right along with everybody else. And it's not like the results are just on one page. I mean, you could be right, there's hundreds and hundreds. Every page is page one. All right. So you can be right up there with people. Now, if you do a nice and creative job of making your pin, like I said, that's what it's called on Pinterest. You make a pin, not a post. Now, your pin can stand out and be shared. It used to be called being repinned, and now they've changed that to saved. All right, so that's just a little thing that's new. And you're put all over the place. So just to give you an idea of how fast and powerful this can be, I mean, like I said, I ignored my account for literally years. I decided to do exactly what I learned on this webinar, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And also, it's I believe it's screwthecommute.com/Pinterest now. So it's pretty easy to remember. Screwthecommute.com/Pinterest now. And here's the results. And this was Sunday night when I'm working on this Monday episode. So after 48 hours, my pin to drive people to my to a college ripoff quiz to promote my school was seen 4,105 times. And I got about 20 people to take the quiz. And quizzes are just one way to get leads. That was in 48 hours. After 24 hours, I had another pin called 24 Ways to Automate Your Business, based on this ebook I was just giving you on this podcast. And it was seen 1,839 times. And this sends people to download the free ebook, screwthecommute.com/automate free, like I say on this podcast every episode. And that got about 12 new subscribers on my list in 24 hours. I mean, this is really, really powerful stuff. Now, the conversion rates on these may not seem great. I mean, 4,100 people, and what did I say, 20 people took the quiz or something. But keep in mind, this is totally cold traffic. Most of these people never heard of me. Now, what kind of pins do you want? Well, John Kramer, now he's a luminary in the book marketing business for sure. He loves a thing called tipographics. Just like my 24 Ways to Automate Your Business, which gave people a little taste of what I would teach them in the ebook, and then sent them to my website to opt in and download it. That's called a tipographic. Now, these tipographics get way more click-throughs than just plain old pictures, and it's meant millions of visits to John's websites and tons of revenue. Now, Pinterest doesn't care if you send people to your website to buy stuff. As long as the person has a good experience and you make a great pin to get them to click, Pinterest is happy. Now, one thing I will tell you is that just like I've harped on this podcast for episode 1 and episode 130 on keywords, Pinterest is highly keyword oriented. So listen to episode 1, which is basic keywords, and then episode 130 is the changes in keyword research based on voice searches. And guess what? The bulk of people on Pinterest are on mobile. So you have to pay attention to this carefully. So do that even before you sign up, if you haven't signed up yet, because you want to put keywords in certain places on Pinterest. And so you need to have them before you go sign up. See, there's a bunch of places you need to use those keywords. And I mean, give you some examples, like in your profile, the names of your boards, and boards are where you put different topics. And here's the thing, another thing, you can have a bunch of them without hurting your reputation like you would if you had a bunch of topics on a website. I have brutal self-defense, I have fatso tennis, has nothing to do with my internet marketing and public speaking expertise, see? But it's a separate board, so nobody cares. It's fine. Where I would never in a million years lump all that stuff on one website. And the title of your pins are critical. It's one of the top most important things. Naming your graphics and using the alt or alternative description of your graphic is important too, just like on a website. Now, there are tools that help you make these pins. Now, places like Canva, which is free, have pin templates. But wait till you hear this. There's a new program called Tailwind. And also it's got a little division, Tailwind Create. And it has you answer a few questions about what you want to pin about, and it spits out over 20 or 30 different variations of designs. And that brings up another point. You can have multiple different pins sending people to your same stuff. So I have a blog post on, is college really worth it, to help promote the school. Well, I could have 5 or 10 different pins put out over time and different boards, all driving people to that one piece of content. So you don't have to create enormous amounts of new content to go with every pin. You can spend your time maximizing the people that see the content you already have by creating easy to make pins. And especially if you use something like Tailwind. Now, you've got to watch the webinar Daniel Hall and John Kramer did. It's the only webinar I've hosted, listen, ever, that well into the webinar, the attendance kept increasing. Now, yeah, in the beginning, a lot of times it increases because people are late. But this is halfway into the webinar, and there's more people. I can see the numbers going up. Well, there's only one way that happens, and that's if the webinar is so good, people on the webinar start telling other people about it while they're watching the webinar. All right, so that's never happened to me in the years and years that I've been doing webinars. It's so good. So it's screwthecommute.com/Pinterest now, where you can click on the replay link and watch it. So I'll have that link in the show notes, but I highly encourage you to watch it and see how you could be driving large amounts of targeted traffic for free from Pinterest. And guess what? The traffic is much higher quality than from most other social media sites. It's 80% women, 20% men, but the income levels are high, and most of the people visiting are researching buying decisions, and the average amount a person spends on Pinterest is way higher than any other social media. And even though they are smaller, they're not nearly as big as some of the other social medias, they have enormous amounts of high quality users that are fanatic and are there all the time, so they're just waiting to spend money with you. So get over to the show notes, and here's the link again, screwthecommute.com/Pinterest now, and click on that webinar and be ready to take good notes. And I don't really jump on bandwagons, but I spent the entire weekend studying Pinterest and watching that webinar, and I'm watching the replay, and I'm planning on putting lots of efforts into it to promote my main stuff, but also my sideline stuff like Brutal Self-Defense, Fatso Tennis, Protection Dogs Elite. I can have boards on all that stuff that doesn't interfere with my main reputation. So, for instance, my brutalselfdefense.com site sells a 14-hour, really killer, no pun intended, course for $497. I think sometimes, I don't know, we got deals. And I don't really bother promoting it through normal channels because it's not my main expertise and it's not what I'm known for. And I'm very busy. However, with Pinterest, I can put up let's say a self-defense tip of the week with very little effort and bring in some $500 sales of that product. That's the same with Fatso Tennis. We have a $40 DVD set. It's kind of funny, but it's a serious thing to help older people and overweight and out of shape people beat the younger people, right? So I don't have time to promote it much, but Pinterest will do it for me. So I just love the fact Pinterest is happy to let people go to your website and buy stuff. All the other social medias reward you for keeping people on their site. Pinterest rewards you with the chance to use their platform to find thousands or even millions of customers and prospects, and I just love that. All right, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Check out the GoFundMe campaign. Help us out on the program to help those people with disabilities, and then do your keyword research, episode 1 and episode 130, and then go sign up for Pinterest if you haven't. And if you have, you can edit stuff now. It's not carved in stone. So if you've already made a bunch of mistakes, you can fix them, no problem. And you'll just start fresh, so it won't hurt you if you've already started a Pinterest account. And definitely watch the webinar, screwthecommute.com/Pinterest now. All right, catch you on the next episode.